This week on the Push Follows podcast, slightly too much COVID talk. Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Where should PTs and the fitness be putting their effort online this year? And what predictions do we have for 2021?
Right. 3, 2, 1, and we're back in the bunker, part 3.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Four Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me, Tom Hall. It's going to
Yeah, back to Bunkercast again.
Bunkercast.
I think it's
30, maybe.
Hey, there's going to be, do you know what? Knowing our fucking luck, there's going to be a lockdown 4.0 when the vaccine like somehow doesn't work or something like that. I just fail to believe this is the end, like last one. I just fail to believe it. I just think like
I think this one's
the press
going to be
conference and he was like
a long one.
And they were like on the press conference today. They're like, "Yeah, we can't guarantee there'll be no restrictions come next winter." I was like, "What? Huh? Sorry, what?" Well, just like the flus that it comes around regularly. I was like, "Oh, of course it does. Of course it does, mate. Yeah, brilliant. Just tell us that now, why don't you?" Honestly, I just
making it up.
And the whole shit, like the whole like, "Oh yeah, we've got an ambitious target to do 2 million vaccines a week," and I was like, "No fucking chance. Zero. You can't even do 1 million tests a week." I was like, "And that's easier than doing a vaccine, surely." Oh my god, like. Yeah, there you go. That's what I've got to say about it. I'm fuming, mate.
It's crazy. And this is day one, isn't it? Yeah, we're recording this day one.
Oh.
To be honest, I was in tier 4. We went from out of the November lockdown into tier 2, and we were like, "Oh my god, London's in tier 2." And then we went 1 week tier 3, 1 week tier 4. We were like. And we were like, actually, what's the difference between tier 4 and lockdown? Like, they can't lock us more down, can they? And basically, they took away my golf privileges. Leaf driving ranges and golf courses were open. I had something to that was great for me, amazing. But yeah,
and I think that's the thing, like with the whole gym things. Again, I understand and I get people's oh, you don't know if you don't try, but stop doing the petitions to keep gyms open, please. Please. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Like the whole one about tier 3 that was successful, that was because it was there was still places open. You're not going to get it open.
And look what happened. Look what happened. They were like, oh, yeah, with a tier 3 system. Yeah, you can open it in tier 3. Until tier 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's I just even if they said,
did we mention we had 4 tiers? How did we forget to mention that?
Did we forget to mention that?
They didn't turn over that piece of paper. They accidentally printed front and back on that piece of paper when the 4th tier went on the back. They didn't realise that bit.
Honestly,
always,
I get it.
Always, it's like an exam paper. Always check the back of the exam paper because you might miss a question.
Yeah, I get it. I get I get the enthusiasm for it, but it's seriously, give up now. Give up. It's just they don't give a fuck about fitness. And again, it's evident in everything that they do, right? It's evident. They don't care about people's the obesity rates and stuff like that. They're not doing anything to prevent it. They're not doing it. They don't give a fuck. To stop this whole. Again, I commend the guy. I think it's the guy up in Liverpool, isn't it? He shouts about it. I commend him for his message. It's 100% true, but. And I think we're right to question the government and question them and stuff. But if this whole process has taught me one thing, it is that we are scarily, seriously out of touch of our in terms of what we have available to us and our power. We are controlled by government. Whether we like it or not, it's fucking scary how much control they have over us. You think you live in a free world, you think you live in a democracy, shit, and it's just it feels like we don't, and that's the whole point. Is petitions and stuff don't mean anything. Unfortunately,
that was the thing. I was because the amount of people, sort of I didn't obviously say this on the show, but I drove home from a tier 4 into a tier 2 place on Christmas Eve, and everyone was like, "Oh, how did you? Was there police? Was there everything out?" And I was like, "No." It's no. The point of living in a democracy is that our country is self-governed. That's the whole point. I was that's why we don't have, especially overlords, in a ridiculous China or whatever. We don't have the policing system to be able to do that. There's not going to be roadblocks. There's not going to be. There might be like a couple of policemen like at stations, and that's about it. Like offering advice, they can't go. Probably not a law, so you just can't travel.
It's like I
no,
said,
there was
though,
no
like, the
roadblock.
whole-
Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's like I said with the whole lockdown the first time. Remember the first lockdown, right? It was an unknown quantity. People didn't know what was going to
Correct,
happen.
yeah.
Like it was a scary thing. Like no one knew any of the data. No one knew if people survived that well and what was going on. So it was like, shit, this is serious. Like
We were like, shit, 1,000 people are dying a day of this thing.
Yeah, like I remember going to like Waitrose and being like, oh my god, like I don't want to touch much. I don't want to open doors like that. I walked into doors, use my back, you know.
Yeah.
And like this lockdown now, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And I think this is the problem, is that it's just ridiculous because people now have access to a lot of data that's put out and around. And again, like whether it's true or not, another question entirely, the media and all this sort of stuff. But there's been a lot more that's happened since the last lockdown to this one. And people are now more aware of this virus. And the fact is, the majority of people lie in bed with it with a cold for a week and then they get back up again. So like locking us down in our houses has lost the effect, because I know it, to me, it's more than likely 99.5% chance of me getting it like a cold. I just find it baffling. Like I watched the press the conference, and he's there and he's like, we must do this, we must protect them and all that. I'm like, it's lost its emphasis, mate, because we know that, like it's not that bad. For the majority of people, I don't stress, obviously, but it's I just feel like this time round, the reason people are just like, oh, for fuck's sake, is because a lot of people probably don't think it or agree with the whole thing about how it should be, handled and stuff. And like, everyone's got their own theories. But I saw a great question today on the press conference, and it was like, if you're saying that kids and people are spreading this really, really quickly and all this sort of stuff, why the fuck are you not vaccinating people who can get back into the economy, like of working age, and like kids, give them the vaccine so that they can get the economy back again, schools can open up again, keep all the older people shielded, like you should have done from the fucking beginning, mate. And let everyone else just, I don't know. And he just didn't have a fucking answer. Just stupid. Anyway, this is the thing now, is people have formed their own like little opinions, and they think that like I just have, right, based on that, it's probably fucking completely wrong. But I've formed an opinion enough, and I know enough other people have got that similar opinion, who are scientists and who are people in government, all this sort of shit. And it's like half of one, 6 dozen of the other. Half. What's that saying? Half a dozen, 6 of the other. I don't know. It's that whole thing. Half a dozen and 6 of the other, whatever it is. I can't remember. But it's that whole thing where like, it's just a bit of like a toss-up, really. Let's give this one. And now, because they've gone with it from the get-go, they have to keep going with it to keep face. And it's just like, really? Like, really?
No, and this one's like, they didn't even give us a date to come out of this one, did they? They're like,
but that's the thing.
mid-Feb.
The thing I find crazy is that they said from the beginning, they were like, yeah, there's a 2-week period whereby once you get it and then you go, right? So surely then, by that theory, anyone who gets it today, right, is going to be 2 weeks. Anyone who gets it today, right? Let's say you have another 2-week lag on that. 4 weeks it should be max. Why it needs to be any longer than that? Why at least 6? Why is that a thing? Surely, if the way it works is 2 weeks, then it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
All those scallies going to work, mate. All those scallies. Just on a because you actually asked me this before show, and I guess we're adhering to personal trainers. Yes, I believe in England. I don't know the rules. Scotland, Wales, probably the same as us, aren't they? They don't care about government. They just do whatever we're doing. Scotland, Northern Ireland, don't know. But in England, we can personal train outside. It literally says it in the group meetings bit. So don't skip. Read the who you're allowed to socialize with, who you're allowed to whatever. Are you allowed to meet people? It kind of says you're not really meant to meet anybody apart from one, correct? But for working outside, and if you say you cannot work, basically we fall under the category of like we have to be there to work kind of thing. You can't stay at home, so you can, and I believe it looks like you can meet more than one client a day. Otherwise, it's probably just not fathomable. You're meant to stay in your local area, but I still think that's like preposterous, because I'm assuming that like construction workers and labourers are still going to be using the trains and going everywhere. So, and I don't think there's not as many like personal trainers as there are of labourers and construction workers. I'm going to say, and yeah, I think they'll be all right. And you're going to be outside. You're not going to be inside. Don't do stupid thing and like try to go inside or in the garage or something like that. Be like, look, I go play by the rules and just go to the park. Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a couple. Basically, I'm just
thermal underwear.
Yeah, Jesus. Like I'm going to do a couple like early doors in the morning, just mainly for my not just to get me out and about. If I'm honest, I don't particularly want to do them, but like I'm going to go see a couple of the clients. I quite like speaking to them. I like all my clients, so it's actually more of a social benefit for my insanity, and I get paid to do it. And it will get me up and out early. And I actually only have to take like a 7-minute train journey to get there. So yeah, it's not that bad. And there'll be nobody on the train. But,
that's the thing though, like we just said though, for you now you're like, well, 7 minutes on the train, who gives a fuck? Like before I was like, oh my god. Yeah, I've got to walk. And now it's like, all right, I got on the train then, and I don't know. That's the thing. I think it's
I did take during the first March lockdown. I did take the tube once, I believe, and I was the only one on the carriage. Like I sanitized myself like head to toe basically the whole time. Yeah. But like it was like there'll be rife and just crawling around in there. Like you're gonna see a little COVID creature in the corner, like a mouse or something. But it was fun. But yeah, there was that fear, wasn't there? There was like, shit, I'm walking into it looked like I was going, it was, I don't know, one of the horror movies, basically. But yeah, enough. I guess we can, enough about COVID, I guess. People are already sick of it.
The last thing I would say though, and the other thing about the whole lockdown things is I posted it on the night it got announced, and then I deleted it because I was just like, do you know what, it's too political. I was like, I can't really give any context, but now I will because on a podcast. But the other reason that it's not gonna be as effective and people aren't as bothered and aren't as all that sort of stuff is that you've had 3 MPs over the course of the first lockdown, one scientific advisor breaking the rules to meet up with fucking mistresses and all sorts of shit and drive into fucking castles in Durham. Like, this is the point, is that you lose the respect of your country because they've gone, well, you're not following by the rules. Why the fuck would I follow by the rules then? If you're not, if you can drive to Durham to test your eyesight, I'm going to fucking do it. And like the government advisor who said, oh, millions are going to die unless we do everything, and sneaking off to have sex with his mistress who's married. It's like, I'm sorry, but you can't. If you're not taking it that seriously, then we're probably not going to. And it's and this is the thing, isn't it? It's and that's where the frustration comes from for me. Is I think, like you said, other countries, they do what they're told, like China and Japan and stuff. Mainly because they get shot if they don't. But
Japan.
You know,
Japan's all right. They're a lot more like us.
Yeah.
China, though.
Yeah. It's just the eastern world to me. I just sort of, I'm just racist, clearly. But no, but like I meant China when I was talking about getting shot. But no, but like it's within their culture to follow rules better and all that sort of stuff and wear masks and things more appropriately. But that's the thing I think about. That's the thing that really gets me and really annoys me is you've got a sage government advisor. That's the one that did it for me, that Neil Ferguson guy. It was just like, do one, mate. If you're saying this, you're saying we must lock down, and you're doing that, go do one. That's it. Simple,
mate. All right, 2021, the new year, full lockdown. But hopefully we'll be in less months lockdown this year than last year. I think we totaled it up. I probably worked 5 months.
I would not hold my breath on that.
I think in the gyms we were allowed to work for 5 months last year, which is bonkers. So yeah, I probably did my all-time low of sessions. Pretty good.
Genuinely, I'm not even joking when I say that. I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I'm assuming like March. But we'll see. I'm going to go March.
How many months we locked down in 2020? March. It was March, April.
Or May, March wasn't till the end because we closed up.
April, May.
We closed up on the 17th, I think, and I think it was a week lag from then. It was just counting from when third space closed because we closed a week before national lockdown because we was like, this is getting a bit serious.
And how long did it last? Was it 12 weeks?
I think it's something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. But
So what's that, 3 months?
remember when it was like, oh, we're allowed to go outside for a little bit longer now. It was like the
Yeah.
whole there, like you can go outside for an hour and then you can't see anybody, and we're like, oh, right, okay. Now it's
Yeah.
like, all right, fuck off.
So it was,
You were like,
so it was like
purposely
let's say it was,
I'm gonna go to Waitrose 7 times today, so I can just get the
Yeah.
milk and then come back, get some butter, and come back. I needed more peas. Like joking.
So hang on. So we had 3 months. Let's call it 3 months. We had lockdown there. Then you had the November one, which was a month. That's 4. And then you basically had tier 4 lockdowns towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Which are about 2. It was around for about 2 weeks. So with the first one, 3. It's about 4.5 months of lockdown. Like technically.
Yeah.
I genuinely would not be fucking surprised. So we got this one now. It's gonna. They're now saying could be 12 weeks, right? 8 weeks, whatever. Let's talk about 8 weeks. That only means that there's 8 weeks of the rest of the whole year of some sort of stay-at-home restrictions. I'm not betting that that's going to be the case. I do not trust anything this government say anymore. I just wouldn't be surprised. Next Christmas, there's similar things. It'll be before Christmas. We must have social distancing. We must have things, cinemas and places like that, indoor places, lots of people. They'll probably have to close. I wouldn't be fucking surprised. I genuinely, maybe I'm being really pessimistic, but just
yeah. Let's move on, Daniel. Let's move on. Let's talk health and fitness. All right.
It is health and fitness.
We basically have the little caveat. I'll put at the front of the show, skip for kind of 10, 12 minutes if you want to miss the COVID chat.
I'm gonna do it now just to piss you off every Tuesday. Everything we talk about, I'm going to relate it to it just to annoy you.
It's going to be at least listened to first one of the year ever. All right.
I reckon people are going to fuck yeah.
All right. Normally, I should look back. We didn't do a fitness predictions last year, which is it's unlike us. We normally do one. I don't know whether we so we actually released that on the 14th of January. So I feel like we had 2 weeks off. 7th, the Pulleys was released in January as well. Oh, we did a predictions for 2020 at 199. We had a while off. We released about 4 in a row fucking week. It's bad, isn't it? All right. Did I actually write it? Oh yeah. Well, I was kind of right. we wrote. Oh, I wrote on the blurb. World War III was happening. Australia is on fire. I mean, remember that. Everything was on fire, and veganism is now legal religion. I mean, that was probably the worst thing that came out of 2020. What predictions? Such we talked about bugs. Oh yeah, you said, I think you said that bugs were going to become a new kind of snack or protein kind of thing. I believe that's what you said, and we said that Peloton were going to kill it.
They have,
which we were bang on, absolutely bang on, and we wrote something about sugar, but I didn't write enough in the blurb. Yeah, I mean. Now we have to move on. We did a review of 2019 as well. Jesus. Oh, yeah. That was because we did the review. I think we saw each other over Christmas last year as well. That's probably why. I think I came down for a few days. I think we did a live one. Yeah, so we got to do predictions. We'll review 2020. Yeah, that was shit. All right, 2021 predictions. So I guess we normally talk about what fitness trends, what kind of stuff we see happening within our industry in the 2021.
Zoom PT.
Everything's already happened. So I suggest some of the stuff we'll talk about is what we think will happen in terms of maybe gyms, where we think the good thing to go into, what we think we should invest in, Bitcoin, what we should Bitcoin's about 5 years ago, but coming back.
I still think you'd be fine doing it now, genuinely.
Yeah, pretty much. Where we basically, this is an interesting topic as well, because we were talking about this as the PTC, as a kind of a collective. We were saying, where should trainers put their effort online? So if you were to single out one platform, because generally speaking, people put a lot of their effort into one platform, not all of them. It's hard to, it's the 80-20 rule, correct? Have you heard of that rule, Dan? I'm sure you have.
Yes. Yes.
Is where you put 80% of your effort into one thing, and then you have 20% spinning the wheel, and the rest of them making sure they just don't go away.
That's where the whole 80% focus on nutrition and training comes in. And people are always like,
Correct.
"Oh, I've heard results like 80% nutrition." It's like, no, it's just that's going to give you more bang for your buck that you need to focus on. Without focusing on that, it's pointless doing the other 20%. But it's not to say that the 20% is useless. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully somebody's learned something from that. Then we can talk a little bit about what nutrition things are coming out this year, I guess, is a general theme. And I just put, will gyms reopen ever? So we'll all have to have our own gym, Dan. I might buy the flat upstairs, and then or there's a studio flat that just came on the market. Might take that one. Just have that next to us.
Hey, if you're rich enough to buy that.
Just do that for a laugh, innit? Be amazing. But yeah, all right, off the bat, what do you think is going to happen in fitness and personal training in 2021? Health, fitness, nutrition, anything, I guess. We can just throw it out there. Anything new, anything that's going to...
I think for some reason, I don't know why, I think that Huel is going to make like a comeback. Not a comeback, but I think Huel is going to be like a thing. Reason for it is I think it's got some big backing recently from people who are quite big with big followings and stuff, number one. But two, I think there's going to be this big thing behind like, we've been locked up all this time. Don't waste time worrying about what you're eating. Just have a shake and then get on with your day kind of thing, like getting back into routines with like work and office and commutes and stuff. And I think they're really going to push the whole like, don't waste time doing that shit when you can get a really good balanced shake and like this. And we know it's obviously not ideal, but I think that could be a thing that I think is gonna go. I think people are going to get bored of cooking their own food because they've been at home all this time. People are going to want to eat out more, and I think it's going to be that convenience, quick thing. And I think they're really going to go for it.
Cool. Actually, there is a couple of people it resurfaced. I know a couple of people doing it right now, and they were like, "Oh, don't ever go at me. I know you're gonna fucking annihilate me for it." I was like, as long as you're using it as just a fucking protein shake, then I don't care. I was
At the end of the day, it's a protein shake with like fiber and some bits added to it. Like
it's like a souped up protein shake if that's anything you want to do. And I was like,
no, they do soups as well. No, they do soups as well.
Nice. Just heat it up, mate.
I think they've also been taken over. Like I think they've had a bit of money injected into them. And they've got, like I said, a couple of big partnerships and stuff. And they basically, their whole thing is like their tagline at the moment is "This isn't diet food, it's food." And it's kind of like going again beyond the old. It's not just diet shakes and stuff. It's made with oats, rice, peas, coconuts, flax seeds, and that's how they're going about it. And they do now. Again, hot and savory version. So like there's like meals now that you can buy from them, and they're like in a pack.
Is it like moon food?
Like, yeah. It's a bit like that, and it's like comes in a pack, and you get a scoop of it. I assume you add water to it.
You just lick it dry, kind of.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's a bit more than that. It looks like it's got a little bit more to it than that. But
fair enough. I guess it's a weird thing, isn't it? Because Gordon Greenhorn, obviously a friend of ours, I worked with him, and in person he was doing Huel as a month in like experiment, and he fucking hated it. And I was like, that kind of comes across because obviously me and you, we like our food. We're not the market at all because we're going to be like, I love food too much, quite a bit of a foodie, like eating out, like making food. That's the thing. But those people who see it as a convenience, and there are some people, it's like my flatmate. I was like, where's I go at him because he makes the quickest. He makes pasta about I'm going to say 7 times a week. Like because it's so fast, and he sees making food as a burden. Whereas I quite like putting on a stew for like 4 or 5 hours and doing all that stuff. He sees that as quite an annoyance, but I'm like, no, it's not. I was like, all I've got to do is chop, season, bung it in. I was like, then I leave it. I see that as quite nice, but I understand where you're going, because there isn't going to be those people with like, you've got to be out living your life again. So it's just not for me. I never advocate it. I'm not even fucking like,
it's not for me either, but I think a lot of people are going to stay at home and they're going to have cooked a lot and they're going to be bored of it. And they're going to want to eat out and they're going to want to grab things on the go. And I just think, again, London sort of stuff, it's going to be in the papers. It's going to be, I don't know. I think if there's an aggressive marketing campaign, there'd be. I
considered actually, I was considering doing FFF. They talked to us about sponsoring the show a couple of times, but I didn't really. It's fine. Fresh fitness food. I did think about doing that, but then I was like, no, I like making my own food too much. I was like, again, I like that. It's like, if I'm not out and about enough.
I think there's going to be this whole thing of people making up for lost time. So a lot of PTs, for example, are going to be doing more sessions. They're going to want to spend less time prepping food. I don't know. Maybe I could be completely wrong.
Hopefully PTs are not going to be doing more sessions, because they're going to use this time to be smarter with their time. So they have more clients and less sessions.
Yeah.
How do you do that, Tom? They're going to be conference a hybrid, moving on to what should be big this year. Should be hybrid coaching. Should be, because all this bullshit about restricting social contact and gyms being ridiculous if you're not air-conned and all this kind of crap. Movement in that area is key, remember, for COVID. So yeah, it should be a case of hybrid coaching. If you haven't done it in the last 2 lockdowns, do it now. Do it in this one. It's like the cliche, it's the best time is now to do it. Move on to hybrid coaching, get a couple of your best clients and be like, can you try? We don't care. We were giggling about it earlier. It was like, oh, what are you using? TrainerEyes, True Coach, or My PT Hub? Just pick one. TrainerEyes is shit. Don't pick that one. My PT Hub is hard to use. True Coach looks like it's okay. There's also stuff like Train Heroic. I quite like that one. If I was to pick one, I would use that one. It's adapted to my kind of style of training. But use one of those PT platforms, or just be old-fashioned. Do Google Forms and Excel like Daniel does it, and live in the past. But it works, and they're not paying for your fancy spreadsheets. They're paying for Dan. That's what they're paying for. Just realize that. Like, you can sign them up on whatever platform. Just sign them up. Is that you've had a fucking business coach, Dan? Just do it, but it's not done yet. Done is better than perfect. Like, just have a go.
Don't get me wrong, if I was to start over, I probably would use an app or something like that. But the fact is, I started the way I've started and it works for me. So I just do it and it works for the end user. And people put far too much fucking emphasis in it. Like, you've got no clients, no online presence. It doesn't matter if it takes you an hour to onboard a client. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Fucking do it.
And we realized online PT is definitely bigger than in person. There are more people, definitely. Your pool gets massive, but that's speaking as me, and I kicked in all of my online clients from over COVID, because obviously last March, because I took that other job. So I decided to. I didn't know COVID was going to happen. I might have kept some of them, but I was kind of like shifted and was like hand them on to other trusted people who probably needed some clients, and I was like, go with this person, see if they can adapt, that kind of thing. So yeah, speaking as a person who doesn't do online training, get into it. 1,000%.
I had a call today. With an old client who rang me from Hong Kong, and he wanted to talk to me about how to implement online coaching within a gym chain that has over 80,000 members. He's like, they still don't do it. He's like, over there, they still don't do it. They've realized they've spent 6 months out of 12 locked down in that country. And he's like, we need to do this. Like, we need to get our PT up to scratch with how to use online. And I was like, yes, no shit. You've got 80,000 members that are not being serviced. Yeah. Like, it's I'm not joking you. Like, this stuff is serious. Like, it's important. And the way the world's going, like, we
especially with those apps, like there's loads of these weird, like, I didn't even know these existed, and then it was just I think my buddy's girlfriend like showed me a load of these people. She's like, oh, because obviously knew I was into fitness. I was like, yeah, I'm into fitness. Yeah, cool. I kind of do it as a job. And then they were like, "Oh, do you know? Do you know this person?" I was like, "I am the worst person to ask about Instagram celebrities. Do you know this one? They're really big. They've got their own app." I was like, "Have they? Oh, great. Oh, they don't let anybody have an app, do they?" I was like, "Yeah, this one." I was like, "I don't know who that is. Sorry." "Oh, she's really big, really good." And I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't look good." This person, like, but I was like, hats off to them. They're fucking earning bank. I was like, if they're like, if that's £10 a month to sign up for their app, and it don't look good, and they're just putting a workout up like every other day, and you're cracking on that, and then that's what you're signing them for. And if they've got 1 million followers or 500,000 followers, if you just get 500 of those people, like £5 a month's not bad. Like, great. Crack on. That's crazy. Obviously, you don't need a 500,000 following to do online coaching at all. 1,000.
Do you know what?
Would be great.
It's really overblown though. Like I know of 2 people with over 100,000 followers, but yet they do not make anywhere near the same amount of money that an online coach with 40 clients would have. Like, you need 40 people to like you. 40 people. I've found 40 people to like me. Like, so what does that fucking tell you? It's not hard. But no, in all seriousness, like, it's people drastically overestimate how many followers they need. Like, again, I've said this before, I think on a podcast. I said it today to like our mentoring group that we have. I actively go through my Instagram removing followers. Actively do it. I go on there and I get followed by like @keto diet hacks, and they follow thousands of accounts, and all they do is post like infographics. Remove them as a follower. Why would I care if that person follows me? This massively overblown, and you're better off having a quality audience that you control. And like Laura does it. So Laura with her Pilates, every time she gets someone follow them, she looks at it and goes, "Are they going to be interested?" She's like, "No." You can fucking tell with the majority of them. You know straight away. I've had some people follow me again. If they're following 7,000 accounts and they've posted 2 pictures, right, from 2 years ago, chances are they're not going to see any of your posts because they don't use Instagram. They follow 7,000 accounts. What's the chances of your stuff coming up on that 7,000? It's not. Like, I think it's really overblown. And those people who have hundreds of thousands and stuff like that, they don't do that. They just keep all the followers in, and they wonder why their posts don't go very well, or why they don't get that many likes compared to their following amount and all that sort of stuff. And just remember, like,
if I were to essentially target the people, probably the people that are important to you, the ones that look at your stories as well, because those are the people who are engaging your whole time. Like, realizing the posts don't do that well, the reels are doing better, but the stories are the ones that you realize how many people look at those stories. That's probably how many potential clients you have, or probably people who like you enough to look at what you're doing day to day as well. And you realize, wow, if that's anywhere like 100, then you're like, cool, clearly I can try and market to these 100 people somehow. Look, it'd be weird. Click through their things, like, absolutely fine. If it's open, it's a cool thing to do. What was interesting about, I've seen seen some people, this has introduced me from this mate's girlfriend, looking at the, it sounds a bit OnlyFansy, but like they have the private Instagram accounts, especially from now, they have their open one, which you can then pay to be accepted into their private one, where they do their online classes. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Obviously, because you have to be accepted to be, like, obviously it's private, so you get to select who's coming on, blah, blah, blah. And you pay your subscription to not an OnlyFans. You can do Patreon. That would be the better one to do. The OnlyFans, a little bit sexy, isn't it? Patreon, probably a little bit more credible. Use that one. Don't use the OnlyFans one. Or just use a GoCardless link or something like that, or PayPal link. And then you see who's there. You pay a subscription. Bam. Patreon's good because it's a recurring revenue. And then you have where you do all your online classes. And if you don't know how to use Zoom, or you don't know how to do that, you just crack it on that Instagram account, and it's private. And then you control who's on there. So that'd be great. Doesn't matter how many, just getting 20 people on there, subscribing, blah, blah. Then you have the power to take them on and off at any time as well. So it makes kind of sense to me. That is a good, I think, a get around of people not knowing how to start up their online classes, or they want to do something like that and they don't quite know how to do it. They want to charge, or they want to do it and they can't be bothered with doing a Zoom link and sending it out an email to everybody. How about just create another account? It's private. That's where you do all your stuff. Boom. Be lovely. Be good.
Yep.
Be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
And people are doing it. So
we spoke to the group today. Mike was talking about, he knows someone who's got 38,000 followers, I think it was, and Mike gets more people watching his story than they get watching theirs. And Mike's got like 8,000 or something. And it was like, and it was significantly more, like 20-30% more Mike got. And it was, again, it comes down to like, don't worry about the metrics. And like, if you've only got 800 people following you, like if you had 800 people stood outside your house looking at them, you'd be like, fucking hell, they follow me.
This is weird.
What the fuck? Like, genuinely, like I have to do it sometimes. I go, oh, I've only got 6,000 and it's, not a lot compared to a lot of other people. Then I remember obviously that, like, don't forget, compared to a lot of other people, I've deleted lots of my followers that I think are shit. But then if you had 6,000 people in a football stadium and you were stood in the middle of the pitch looking around, you'd be like, oh my God. This is stupid.
Just like, them watching you and then like sending you an emoji every single time you do something.
Yeah, you've just got to put it in perspective, because like it's easy. If you want 200,000 Instagram followers, if you want that many followers, right, go and catfish another Instagrammer, post loads of naked ass pictures all over Instagram, you'll get them. 100% you'll get it. Pointless. Fucking pointless, don't it? Because all they're doing there is liking your pictures because you've got loads of skin out and it's not even you. And do you know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want in life, go and do it. But that's not going to help in any way. That's what a lot of these people do. They've got 200,000, 300,000 followers, but they're also doing softcore porn. So it's up to you, really, if you want to do that.
I mean, I think that you should definitely be doing that this year. Definitely.
Oh my God! I'd the amount of followers. That'd be a way to go to. I'd be the only Instagram account that had 0 followers if I started doing that.
I mean, it's not even like MySpace. You wouldn't even have Tom just there as a friend. Hey Tom, that's not me, by the way. All the kids that listen to this. All the kids, our demographic is our age, unfortunately. But all the kids, MySpace was something pre-Facebook. I realised that's hard to believe, and we were all on it. It was you could customize your page.
You used to have a music track, didn't you?
Music track, and it took fucking forever to load, didn't it? Like the whole thing, it was like, how much shit have you got on your page? Look at my page. It's really good. I got all this background. I got pictures on it.
It was almost like a one-page website, wasn't it? It was
basically.
This is me. This is me.
And then you'd friend with people, but you'd only allowed 8 people, so those were your top friends. And did you have this where people got really annoyed, like if you like replaced them as your like number one friend?
No,
you just had like the creator Tom just sitting there forever. Everybody was like, "What happened to him? He's a multi-millionaire." That's what happened to him. He doesn't give a shit.
He sold MySpace and then thought, you know what? I'm pretty good from
I'm all right. So that brings us to one of the questions we were talking about is PC. I think we've wasted about 10 minutes going around through. What should they put their effort on online, and which platform, if you were starting right now or you've had 6 months of doing stuff, Daniel, which platform would you go into? What would be your 80%? And which ones, let's pick like 2 or 3 so they can do 10 to 7.5% each. Don't judge the maths. 80% and then like maybe two others, do 10% each. There we go. For the 20%. 80, 10, 10.
If I was starting out now, as me now, I would be on Instagram just because I think it's easier. I think it's dying a slow death, I'll be honest. I do think it's... I think people are starting to come a little bit turned off by it. I think the whole comparison is a thief of joy, kind of like everyone puts their life on there. It's kind of like people now don't say, oh, social media is killing, people's lives. It's now Instagram. They're actually naming it. It's not Facebook anymore. It's literally they're saying Instagram is bad for people. So I do feel like it's dying a slow death. So I would err on the side of caution with that. I think YouTube's the longer term one. YouTube ain't going nowhere. It's not going to change as a platform. It's long form video. It's entertainment. I would go Instagram for now for 80%, and then I do the 20% will be YouTube. I wouldn't even do anything else. So I've just got into using Reels as well on Instagram because I've realized it's the only fucking thing on there that they're pushing at the moment. That and IGTV still goes okay actually, and that's why I've started using it, because I was like, do you know what, you've got to play the game with it. You got to understand the platform.
Well, I did a little experiment on that. I was like, I realized I don't have a big Instagram account. What have I got, 1,600 followers or whatever, but I put no effort into it. Okay. And then I actually did a little experiment off like Reels compared to video, just to see what like the views and stuff would be. So I mean, slightly embarrassing, but the views on stuff, like I posted one yesterday, literally just a post to like my feed, and that was it. It's barely scraping 150 views. Okay, which is like Billy Basic, right? Yeah, a shitty reel, nearly 1,000. It's nearly tenfold of like, and it's not dissimilar content. I just wanted to see. I did like one thing there and one thing there, just to see what they were pushing. It's near. I'm going to go between 8 and 10 times they're pushing a reel over a normal post.
So I got I posted that video, the Home Alone video, the guy throwing the guys, Kevin throwing bricks at the guys, right? I swear to God, the amount of comments I got on that video is a normal Instagram video, normal one, 45 seconds long. I think it got shared from people that tagged me anyway, about 20, 30 times. And that got 1,000 views, right? And I swear, like I said, I swear to God, that was one of my most shared, interacted, engaged posts. Every reel I've done has got at least 2,000 views, at least. And the highest is 7,500. And the reason that I know it's worked, and the reason that I know that is, and hear me out, this can sound really weird, is that when I posted these reels, I've actually lost followers. And the reason I've lost followers is because it's been sent to people who've been following me for ages and forgotten because they've haven't seen any of my stuff for fucking ages. They go, I still follow that guy. He's a fucking idiot. I'll unfollow him. So I lost about 10 to 15 followers when I first did the couple of reels. But I've also noticed that I get a lot more people now see my stories, see my normal posts, see my IGTVs. Like so that's now going to more and more people because they're now re-engaging with my content because of reels. So it's kind of like now within Instagram, they've got like a few different things. You kind of have to look at it and go, reels is like your advert. It's almost like paid advertising. You put it out to random people and you're hoping that they might like it. And then when they start following you a bit more, they might then start liking a few of your pictures or some of your IGTVs. Then they might start watching your stories because they've sort of found you again. So that's the way I've looked at it. And I've gone, look, you've got to look at the platforms within a platform effectively now of Instagram, which is why I think it's dying a slow death, because it's not actually focused on any one thing anymore. It doesn't know what it wants out of life, it just wants everyone. And then I think for us as well, obviously, like you know, we haven't done the YouTube videos because me and Mike haven't been together. And the plan obviously was when he's in Dubai, it should be fucking the world back to normal. It should be easy to do videos still. It's not a problem. We meet up, we film 6 videos, and it shouldn't be a problem. 6 weeks worth of content. We just haven't been able to. But that will still be the main bulk of stuff. Hopefully, again from spring, it'll be the main bulk of other content. And then it comes to really where your demographic is. Like I know Gary V talks a lot about LinkedIn. And he says it's crushing it. It says it's great. If I was going for older people, if I was a little bit older, if I was 35 to 40 and I wanted to track that age group, I'd just fucking go straight LinkedIn. I wouldn't even bother Instagram because it's probably better engagement in terms of what you're looking to get out of it, all that sort of stuff. I don't think our persona would go down as well on LinkedIn. I may be wrong. I think it could do. But it's not why people go on LinkedIn to be entertained. They go there for their work sort of based stuff. And I think you could link it in nicely. Then you've got obviously TikTok, which again, if you're a younger generation, I would go with that. I'm considering, because I'm making the reels now, I'm considering once I've got a good bank of them, just going, fuck it, I might as well stick them on TikTok.
Well, that's what we did in the PTC, because obviously we've got our intern. We're like, can you create a TikTok for us? All right, wonderful. It was like, we might as well, considering we're putting the reels, we're like, TikTok kind of does it for us anyway. So we fucking created a TikTok because we were just like, all right, we're going to do that and do that. They post it at the same time. That's literally your job. So it's absolutely fine.
Literally, I'm actually, do you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually going to do it now. Because I just thought,
create a TikTok. Just do it.
Do you know what? Because unless you do that, you just never know. You just don't know.
We're thinking like 80%. We're thinking we're going to go 80% YouTube, just because obviously we're an education platform, and we're going to do a little bit longer form, that kind of thing, because it gets us more into it. And we've already got a good Instagram following. Pretty much our marketing last year was just Instagram, and we did it fucking terribly anyway, so it was okay. If we actually put 10% of effort into it, it'll be all right. So I think we're going to go YouTube, and we were talking about LinkedIn as well, because I've noticed a few things been pushed on there, and it definitely is. Yeah, it seems a little bit busier than. I've complained about it all year. Don't get me wrong. I hate it. I hate people that message me randomly wanting who haven't read what I do. or seem to think I'm a decision maker within Third Space for marketing or anything like that.
You are you?
I'm sorry. We have a marketing director and a completely different marketing team. I was like, have you even you haven't Googled us at all, have you? No, the education coordinator does not have anything to do with marketing. Guess what? Yeah, we have a board. I don't sit anywhere near that. I wish I did, but I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't be talking to Dan every week, so it'd be fine. So yeah, a bit weird, isn't it? All right, moving on. So 80-20, but basically choose that as a thing. I think as advice, go hard in 80% of one platform or marketing ploy. If you're going to do online training, I feel like you have to do it even if you're doing one-to-one stuff, and just making sure you're known in your area more than anything else, because how else are you getting clients? Are you going to the coffee shops and stuff like that? There's still going to be that demographic who are going to be in finding those groups on Facebook and might still be there. If that's what you like you're looking for mums who are 45 years old, that kind of thing. They might still be more active on Facebook. I know some of the older generation tend to be. So yeah. All right.
Just don't half-ass a few of them.
Don't half-ass loads of them. Go all in on one. And then have one that literally, like on this podcast, I literally it literally shares to my LinkedIn and to a YouTube thing automatically. Obviously, most of our stuff is Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but it automatically just shares to it. At least it's there. I posted about it, and I haven't put anything on it, but at least it's there, right? Yeah. And nutrition, last thing, Daniel, because I think we're bordering on. Fucking forever. Nutrition for this year, mate. So you said Huel, and we've training. I feel like CrossFit's still big. I feel like there's more people doing CrossFit at the moment. I think CrossFit training, bodybuilding shit. Sorry. There's still going to be a lot of people doing that. Still going to be a lot of doing. I still think the classes, Peloton, are still going to smash it. Online training. Got to be hybrid because you want to see people in a little bit more. I don't think there's any new stretchy things like kin stretch or FRC or blowing up those balloons or anything else there. I'm hoping it's going to be a year of cardio. Probably there's going to be a lot of people doing cardio because they've spent a lot of time fucking by themselves, and that's the only thing they could do. So there's a good chance that there'll be a lot of triathloners and marathon runners and newfound runners and stuff like that, and yoga. I bet this year is going to be big for yoga as well because it's just confined
calming,
space kind of thing.
Meditation,
calming stuff, that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be big. But yeah, nutritional fads. Well, actually, I just want to talk about this because obviously this month I feel like you've done it a couple of times, and after you did it on your stories, I had to start doing it as well. It's just noticing the shit that we're being filtered or advertised, because obviously we like a lot of stuff that's to do with health and fitness on our social media platforms and whatever platform, apparently. The crap that you're being advertised on, dietary stuff, the IV drips, fuck me, on MyFitnessPal. I didn't get that. MyFitnessPal is a reliant company on people eating food and scanning barcodes and putting that in. It's that's the point. But apparently, didn't MyFitnessPal lose money for a long, long time? And then they sold for 400 million or something like that. They lost money every year, and then they sold out. But owned by Under Armour and stuff like that, aren't they? But what a weird advert to have on there, IV drips. What? Sorry, where are you putting that into MyFitnessPal? You're not putting IV drip, are you?
Crazy.
That fucking is she from Made in Chelsea? Something like that.
Probably.
The woman that was advertising it. The Sun, a trainer sent to me today, was oh, look at this. It's the top 10 earning fitness people, from the Sun. Over half of them, were former, Made in Chelsea or Towie people. I was no, that's not. They've made their net worth is that because of television, not from the fitness work they've done. I was that's these aren't real people, as far as I'm concerned. Fucking Joe Wicks is obviously right up there, but it's just no, none of these are actually real people. I don't trust anything they've got fucking booty or whatever. I don't know what else would be big in nutrition world.
I don't I think vegan is still going to go that way. I still think it's going to be pushed. But yeah, other than that,
the whole sustainability thing still.
Yeah,
I think it's more plant based and sustainable is I think the big one, especially in obviously the Western world. Sustainability is big. Instead of going fully plant, because I feel like veganism has slowed slightly considering this year. It's just like I feel like it's just going to be like, all right, the world's recovered a little bit maybe because of COVID, weirdly, the natural world. It's going to be like, all right, how can we be sustainable from now on? So sustainable produce, that kind of thing, like Oddbox and stuff like that. We do Oddbox and get your random food delivered, and they say how many trees you've saved and all this bullshit. But yeah, it's just like they keep giving you fucking celeriac. Don't know what else to do with celeriac. Made soup. Don't know what else to do.
all you can do with it, innit?
Yeah, it's just all right, brilliant.
And even then, it's not very nice.
But yeah, mate. I think with that, any other business?
Not from me, no. Does anyone want to talk more about COVID, though? Anyone?
No, I don't think so. If anybody's made it to the end of the show, I did talk about this last time, didn't I? PT Collective, we've merged. We've done some stuff with My Protein. I don't know if I said on the show, or I said it to you.
I don't know if we mentioned it on the show. I'm pretty sure.
I'll do it at the start of next one. But if you've made it to the, because I feel like probably lost a few listeners by now. But yeah, we'll do it. But if you're interested, start applying right now to become a PT. There's 10 people. I will be part of the selection committee, along with Luke and some people from My Protein. And it's becoming a PT, basically. Doing level 2, level 3, and you get to do PT Core and the online coaching blueprint with us. All within, I think, the space of a year or 6 months or something like that. Some of it live, some of it whatever. Me and Luke will be in the My Protein Facebook group next week, I believe, doing something, a Q&A of some sort, I'm sure. So if you want to hear me speak there, then come to it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have no idea who I am and going, who's this joker who said half of these My Protein workouts are terrible? But I'm sure they're not. I'm sure we've made fun of them previously, and I'll make fun of them again because I'm not going to lose my morals. I'll realise, yeah, but if you look at PT Core, I've written that, and that's what's happening. And if I contact you about being part of the round table for PT Core, well done. There's only about 7 or 8 people who I care about their responses. So yeah. But exciting, mate. Exciting, yeah. Like none of biceps and banter. I was like, I've got to have people who got good banter and bigger biceps. So
not me.
None of you, mate. None of you. Mike almost made the cut, but then he's in Dubai, isn't he? So can't get him in.
No.
Yeah.
He's stuck out there now. He's stuck in a safe haven.
No, everybody's over there. Everybody I know is over there. Not everybody, but yeah, everybody. A lot of people I know.
Feels like everybody is.
I keep looking. I'm like, where are you? My clients are out there. So a few of them. But yeah, go crack on My Protein. Buy some. I'm sure somebody who's listened to this show has probably bought something from My Protein previously. So that's all right. They'll know who they are. Be fun. All right, mate. Thanks for joining me. What a lovely 2021 this will be. I think next time we're going to do a little, unless you've already eaten them. I bought down some protein bars. We'll do a little, I don't know if we'll do it on IG Live or both podcast and IG, maybe. I think we can manage that, can't we? Have a dual screen going on with that tech savvy.
I reckon we could.
I reckon we can do that, and we'll do a little tasting of some. We've got about like 8-10 random protein bars. We did used to do this, and we should bring it back. I think every now and again. Now you've made it down, I feel like I can buy 10 protein bars at a time.
Oh wow! I have to say, I'm not looking forward to some of them. They sound a bit odd.
I mean, that's the point. But yeah, we'll go for it. We'll do that next week. So tune in. Yeah.
Yeah. Catch you later.
See you later, guys.